Hey there, great to see you again. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. So what do you think about doing a deep dive into who you guys are today, or maybe who your competitors are? Let's take a look at the characteristics of home buyers and home sellers. Welcome back. I am so glad you're here. Okay, so every year, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, does a study and provides some really interesting data on the demographics of home buyers and home sellers and how you use technology, what your motivation is, all kinds of really interesting stuff. It comes out this time of year every year, so I thought I would share this cool information with my peeps out there. So let's get into it. Okay, we're gonna talk about home buyers, we're gonna talk about homes that were purchased, and then we're going to talk about home sellers, and then I'm going to wrap it all up for you. So stick with me. Okay, first, characteristics of home buyers in the last year. Okay, first of all, first-time home buyers made up 26% of buyers. That's down from last year. Last year was 34%. So that's a pretty significant drop. And I think, that has to do with the affordability issues that were happening in the market. But anyway, so the number of first-time home buyers entering the market in the last year or so went down from 34% to 26%. Now, I think this is interesting too. The typical first-time home buyer was 36, rising from 33 last year, while the typical repeat buyer age climbed to 59. Both are all-time highs. And so I thought that was interesting that the age of buyers jumping into the market has gone up kind of across the board. Leave me a comment. I am really curious for all of my repeat buyers out there. How old were you when you bought your first home? I was 21 when I bought my first home, and now home buyers are 36. I found that to be so interesting. Okay, 61% of recent buyers were married couples. 17% were single women. I thought that was really fascinating. 9% were single men. So if you're a married couple, if you're a single woman, homeownership is clearly a bigger priority for you than if you are a single guy. And 10% of buyers were unmarried couples who are purchasing a home together. And this is the highest percentage of unmarried couples purchasing real estate together. I thought that was kind of funny too. Okay. 14% of home buyers purchased a multi-generational home. And I think this is a trend that we are going to see more of. I think this is something that is dictated by demographics and also possibly by market conditions as well. So 14% of home buyers purchased a multi-generational home, either to take care of aging parents because children or relatives over the age of 18 are moving back home, or for cost savings. Okay, this next one I love, love, love. Check this out. 22% of recent home buyers were veterans, and 1% were active duty service members. So go veterans. Thank you for your service. Let me know if I can help you with anything you need ever. Okay, so that's kind of a review of what home buyers looked like. Now, what types of properties were you home buyers purchasing? Well, let me tell you. 12% of buyers purchased a brand new home, new construction, 12%. 88% of buyers purchased a previously owned home. And that really fits with what was available in the market. There was a lot of new homes that were being built in the last few years, but still that total number of homes being built just is not keeping up with the folks that we have who want to purchase a home. So 12% purchased a brand new home, 88% purchased a previously owned home. And this is not going to be a surprise. This is, just kind of common sense. But most recent buyers who purchased new homes were looking to avoid renovations and problems with plumbing or electricity. That was 41%. That's kind of like, well, duh, of course. Buyers who purchased previously owned homes were most often considering the price point. They were considering that they would probably get a better price on the home, and that was 31% of home buyers. As far as the type of home purchased, detached single-family homes is still the most desired purchase. 79% of home purchases were detached single families, followed actually by mobile or manufactured houses at 8%. And that kind of surprised me, and maybe it's just because I'm in a different market, but townhomes, so single family attached homes, that's a big part of our market, especially the first-time home buyer market, the entry-level market, and also a lot of my investors are buying those. So that's a pretty big segment of our purchase market here in the Cedar City area. Okay, this is cute. Senior-related housing held steady this year at 7%. For buyers over the age of 60, 60 just doesn't seem that old. But anyway, I guess that's qualifying as a senior now. But senior-related housing held steady at 7% for buyers over the age of 60. Now, this is really representative of what was going on during the pandemic, everything that we were dealing with for the last couple of years. The median distance between the home that recent buyers purchased and the home that they moved from was 50 miles. This is a really significant statistic because that increase in the distance moved, as the distance between 2018 and 2021, that median distance was only 15 miles, 1-5, and the median in the last year or so was 50. And again, I think that is representative of a lot of folks have the ability to work from home. A lot of folks were getting out of big cities. They were moving to more rural areas like this one. But I thought that was a very interesting change in that statistic of the distance that folks moved. So why did people buy where they bought? For buyers, 49% cited quality of the neighborhood as the most important factor in determining where to purchase. And then 37% of folks said convenience to friends and family, and of course, overall affordability. That's a factor for a lot of folks. Okay, this is kind of funny. And it's funny because I think everybody in the market has sort of experienced this, but buyers typically purchase their homes for 100% of the asking price, with 28% purchasing for more than asking price. And I will tell you that 28% paying over list actually seems low from what I saw in the last couple of years, but this is a national statistic. So 28% of folks paid over 100% of the asking price. The typical home that was recently purchased was 1,800 square feet, 3 beds, 2 baths, and was built in 1986. I found that to be interesting. 1,800 square feet. That's a good size home. I guess that's if that's what's available on the market, then that's what you purchase, right? Okay, so this next statistic has to do with how long people were looking for a home before they actually purchased one. And the National Association of Realtors is telling us that buyers typically search for 10 weeks and looked at a median of 5 homes and viewed 4 homes only online. And the number of weeks searching for a home grew from 8 weeks in 2020 and 2021. Here locally, you guys, I had buyers who looked for way more than 10 weeks. I mean, I had buyers who were just looking and looking and looking. And you guys know this, we were making offers and offers and offers. Everybody who wanted a home eventually got one, but it was kind of a brutal process for buyers there for a couple of years. But anyway, they're saying that the median is 10 weeks for that search. Okay, financing. Let's talk about how your competitors or you maybe finance the home. So 78% of recent buyers financed their home, down from 87% in the 2021 report. And I think this tracks because we really did see a significant increase in buyers who were either paying all cash or with a very significant cash down payment. That number definitely went up year over year. For 47% of buyers, the source of the down payment came from their savings. 38% used the proceeds from the sale of their primary residence. Now, for first-time home buyers, 26% said saving for a down payment was the most difficult step in the process. We've talked about this before, especially for my first-time home buyers. Let's talk about the FHA loan. Let's talk about the USDA loan so that that down payment is not such a huge burden for you. So let's talk. Okay, home sellers. Let's get into some home sellers and the selling experience. Those aren't my words, that's from NAR. Okay, the typical home seller was 60 years old. This is an increase from 56 years old last year. All sellers, the most commonly cited reason that they were selling is to move closer to friends and family. That was 21%. And again, I think that's really representative of what was going on in our world in the last couple of years. People just really wanted to be with their own folks, right? 11% moved due to retirement, and 11% moved because the neighborhood became less desirable. So the riffraff moved in and 11% of you guys moved out. All right, sellers typically lived in their home for 10 years before selling. This is an increase. It's been hovering kind of around 8 years or so, but you guys are sticking in those houses now for 10 years. I thought that was kind of interesting. I keep hearing 7 years. It hasn't been 7 years for quite a while. The length of time that folks are staying in their home is getting longer. So right now we're at about 10 years. 41% of sellers traded up to a larger home. 32% purchased the same size home. And again, this tracks with what I saw in our local market here. I think there's some historical thing where folks thought that they wanted to downsize. I'm not seeing that nearly as much as I used to. People are getting to a place where they're like, no, I got a lot of stuff. I got to have someplace to put it. So a lot of my sellers, I did see they weren't necessarily downsizing. They were moving to, be near friends or family, or moving to a newer property or something like that. But I didn't see nearly as many that were downsizing as I had in previous years and years ago. Okay, I'm going to give you some statistics here that I think are interesting. Maybe you don't care because I'm in the business, but 86% of home sellers worked with a real estate agent to sell their home. 10% sold via FSBO, which of course means for sale by owner. It's an acronym. Less than 1% sold via an iBuyer. And the iBuyer thing, it was a thing. I don't think it's a thing. We'll see if that thing comes back. I don't see it really taking off. And we talked about this for recently sold homes. The final sales price was a median of 100% of the final listing price. That's the highest recorded percentage relative to list since 2002. That's a long time ago, but we hit that spot again. Recently sold homes were on the market for a median of 2 weeks, which I think is pushing it. Some of the properties, at least in this area, were on the market for a few days, not 2 weeks. So only 20% of sellers offered incentives to attract buyers, a drop from 26% of all sellers last year. Now, I think when they're talking about incentives, that includes things like a home warranty or something like that. So I really did not see a ton of incentives being offered to buyers last year. 10% of recent home sales were FSBO sales this past year. This is up from 7% last year. In rural areas, 13% sold FSBO, compared to 6% of sellers in suburban areas. Now, my seller, I want you to pay attention to this. This is a statistic that is consistent year after year after year, okay? FSBOs, for sale by owners, typically sell for less than the selling price of other homes. And it is significant. FSBO homes sold at a median of $225,000. So for sellers out there sold the home on their own without using an agent, the median sales price was $225,000. Significantly lower than the median agent assisted home of $345,000. I don't know about you, but I think that's a big deal. Okay, the largest percentages of homes purchased were located in suburbs and small towns. And I think this is true. I think all of us know that people are sort of pulling back from living in the big cities and they're moving out to either the suburbs or small towns. 39% of all buyers purchased in a suburb, 29% in a small town, and 19% purchased in a rural area. So welcome. We are glad that you guys are here. Thanks so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you would like to share your experience of buying or selling in the last couple of years. We've got some really fun content coming up, so make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell. I think you guys are really going to like it. If there's a topic that you would like to see covered on this channel, leave me a comment. We've done some really fun videos based off of subscriber requests, so yours could be next. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you soon.